It is Wednesday, my dudes, which means it's time for another First Thoughts and Initial Impressions Epic 7 video. This one will be on Death Dealer Ray, the newest Moonlight 5-star hero that was shown earlier this morning, December 21st, 2022. Speaking of 2022, this is the last First Thoughts and Initial Impressions of this year. Obviously, Ray comes out in 2023, so there's no other characters that are coming out in this calendar year. So, again, this will be the last time you hear my 2 cents and how I'd build the character. Do I think they're good? Do I think it is worth pulling for this year? Although, we will next week take a quick look at what made Epic 7 really great in 2022, as I will be doing a year in review video. So if you are keen for that, make sure to come back next week and check that out. Leave me a like, subscribe, all those wonderful things as well. Really does help me out. And as always, let's just jump into Ray's S3.
Oh, how promising. This will make an excellent case study. This won't hurt a bit. I guarantee it. Life or death. Pick your poison.
Okay, in the English dub of Epic 7, Death Dealer Ray, as well as the regular version of Ray, are voiced by Crispin Freeman, a name that you probably recognize a lot on this channel now, as he is the voice of Straze, as well as Charles and Closer Charles. Taking a look at his actual stats here, Death Dealer Ray is a Dark Soul Weaver of the Cancer Zodiac symbol. That means he shares a stat line with Destina. Taking a look at his stats, he has 621 attack, 6,034 health, 100 speed, 775 defense, 15% critical hit chance, 150% critical hit damage, 3% dual attack chance, and no effectiveness or effect resistance. Imprint release is 10.8% health for the team, and imprint concentration is 27% effectiveness for the team. Overall, Death Dealer Ray's stats are kind of lopsided. Very, very high health for a Soul Weaver, and incredible defense as well. Most knights in the game do not have defense on this level. Really, only Pisces Soul Weavers have better defense than this actual stat line, so it's very, very strong. The obvious drawback, though, is that there's no effect resistance or effectiveness on a character that is either a Soul Weaver or some kind of debuffer, and very low base speed. 100 is also not super, super good. Attack is also low, but we don't care about that too much because traditionally, Soul Weavers don't really use the attack stat. Good stat line, but not absolutely amazing. And that 100 speed, I think, is something that you want to keep in mind because we're going to be coming back to that a lot when we actually talk about Ray's skills. Jumping into Ray's skills, we have his S2 first, which is Anatomical Mutation. You acquire 3 focus as well as 2 souls upon use. It has a 4 to 5 turn cooldown depending on Malagora. It is a non-attack skill that increases the combat readiness of not only Ray, but all allies on his team by 10 to 20%, as well as provides them an effectiveness buff for 2 turns. It also grants Pestilence to all allies except for Ray for 2 turns. Pestilence is a unique buff that says after attacking on the target's turn, inflicts Venom to the target for 2 turns. This effect is not activated by any counterattacks, dual attacks, or extra attacks. Pestilence cannot be dispelled. So, 2 major things to point out here on this move. 1, it is a focus acquiring move. Death Dealer Ray is a focus-based character, which comes with its own set of challenges, and we will reference that in the S3, which we'll talk about after this, as well as that 100 speed that we talked about earlier. So that is something to, again, tuck away when we talk about that S3. The second thing to note is that the Pestilence debuff is one of the things that I think players that wanted to build a Venom-based team around Sharoon really needed. One of the biggest problems with Sharoon is that it's very difficult to get a sizable amount of Venom stacks actually down on an enemy team because right now, cleansers are incredibly strong in Epic 7. Destina is really strong. Mediator Queric is not as played as he used to be, but he's still really, really strong. Characters like Designer Lilibet are still in the wings as well if we go into a full-blown debuff meta. Cleansers, again, just really strong. So it's very difficult to be able to play any character that really thrives on debuffs. Characters like Poison, Bleed, Burn, and then obviously Sharoon with Venom. They're not in the best spot right now because, again, cleansers are so good. So one of the big things Sharoon had against her was not only cleansers, but lack of actual ways to get Venom down on the enemy. Having Death Dealer Ray on your team turns every other character in the team into a Venom character. So if you had Sharoon plus 2 other characters and Death Dealer Ray, you basically have 3 Venom characters. And obviously, Sharoon has her Venom output increased. So that's good. On paper, that is very, very good for what this is trying to do. I think Venom is a very cool debuff. I don't know how strong it'll end up being long term in Epic 7. They kind of seem like they want to make it really, really good. But that again remains to be seen. Injuries has proven to be a very good mechanic in slow, turn 2 versus turn 2 style matches, bruiser versus bruiser matches. So there is some hope for it. And because Death Dealer Ray is a Venom based character, he is almost assuredly only really ever going to be played in these slow, grindy matchups. So before I even talk about anything else in the kit, if you are looking to pull for this character, and you are somebody that likes to play very aggressively, very fast, Death Dealer Ray is going to be absolutely too slow for you. Venom, as a mechanic, is designed to be the PvP version of Poison. Poison is essentially the slow and steady way that characters like Spectre, Tenebria kill bosses at Abyss. Venom is meant to be the slow and steady way that you kill these very high health characters like your Apocalypse Robbies, your Ruel of Lights, your Fallen Cecilias, things like that. That's what Venom was designed to actually do. In some aspects, I do wish they kind of made Bleed or Burn better instead of making Venom, but Venom, again, still does have a purpose. So overall, this non-attack skill is actually really good because get a little bit of support in the form of CR pushing and the increased effectiveness. And Pestilence kind of addresses one of the 2 chief problems that I personally have with Venom, which is right now there's just not enough Venom characters in the pool. This skill supplements this and makes it so that your entire team is a bunch of Venom characters. So he enables the entire comp. Like he is like a core member of trying to build a composition around your actual Venom. In the same way that a character like, say, Silverblade Araminta would be the core component of a burn team, or somebody like Pirate Captain Flan would be the core member of some team that is trying to put down a lot of bombs, or say even Summertime Assaria. Moving on to Death Dealer Ray's S3, it is Cloud of Death, the move that is probably going to be the major focal point of all of the good parts and bad parts of this character for the rest of this review. This move consumes 5 focus to use, and you acquire 3 souls upon use. Note, it does say consume 5 focus to use. That means Death Dealer Ray does not have access to this S3 at the start of the battle. You will have to work for it by building up focus over the course of an actual fight. This move releases a miasma of fatal poison with a 70 to 100% chance to put all enemies to sleep for 1 turn, as well as has a 100% chance to inflict venom for 2 turns to all targets before dealing additional damage equivalent to 80% of each of the enemy's injuries. It then grants Death Dealer Ray an extra turn. This move is actually really strong. This thing is a pseudo stun with its sleep for 1 turn to the entire enemy team. That is very powerful. You see that on characters like Leica all the time. It helps further the Venom strategy by itself inflicting Venom for 2 turns, which is obviously very nice. But I think the biggest thing here is that additional damage equal to 80% of the target's injuries. This gives Ray some level of flexibility because you could play him on a team with a character like Alencia or an injury-based Bellion and actually get some value out of the injury sets on those characters if you've chosen to actually build them that way. So he does have synergy with injury teams because of that. And the additional damage is a lot. That is 80% of the target's injuries. That is almost an instant kill on enemies that are 50% or less, assuming they have max injury stacks. If you're wondering why it's 80% and not 100%, 100% if they had full injury stacks is just an instant kill on the character. And I don't think they wanted to make it just super, super easy to kill the character. But considering the drawbacks that I'm going to talk about in a second, maybe it was probably better that it was 100%. I think 80% was the safe way to play it, for sure, up front. But 100% in its current condition probably would be a bit better. So let me explain. We already talked about it. This move requires 5 focus in order to use. That is really, really slow. So the S2 gives 3 focus. And the S1, which we'll talk about next, gives 1 focus. That means the fastest that you can use Cloud of Death is on turn 4 on this character, unless you are using him on like counter set, for example, or like Unity set, and you're trying to get focus through some other means when it is not actually his turn. So if I was going to play this character at all, I feel like I would probably want to play him on counter Unity just because he's not really fast enough to take the very first turn. He's only 100 base speed like Destina. Means he's capping out around like 230 with like really, really primo speed gear, unless you just want to have no bulk whatsoever on the character. So that's already not good. But counter Unity to try and get the extra focus, that's probably where I would end up going if I was going to play the character, because 4 turns to use the ultimate is pretty yikes. Characters like Yulha and Crow are other characters that can't use their ultimate on the very first turn. Those moves usually end up resulting in a kill that secures a game, and they can come out a bit faster. They can come out turn 1 if you're against a very aggressive composition. They could come out turn 2, turn 3. So it's not like a hard lock turn 4. Even a character like Dark Corvus, depending on the team composition and how often he gets hit, can reliably get his S3 off before turn 4. Other characters with conditional based S3s that have some resource in order to cash in on them, such as, say, Red Rami. Devil Drive feels like a stronger move because it is a high damaging move. It is, again, something that will probably come up more often than Cloud of Death, and it also is an AoE stun with a 100% CR pushback. That is absolutely backbreaking. It's almost like stunning the entire enemy team for 2 turns, on top of the fact that it's probably a team wipe. Cloud of Death, under its best case scenario, is a full team wipe, but only if you have a ton of injury on the entire enemy team and everybody is very, very low on health. So it's a strong move. It does a lot of things that I really like, but it is incredibly hard to set up. And when you compare it to other S3s that are very difficult to set up, it doesn't even seem like it's that crazy. So yeah, this is already, if you can't tell, my way of saying that I don't particularly think, just based off these first 2 skills, that Death Dealer Ray is that good. I think that unless you are somebody who has almost every character or you're a big Ray fan, this character is definitely a wait and see. Most likely, though, is going to be a pass for most people watching this video. I would see if there's some other synergies that people come up with in order to get Cloud of Death off in a more timely fashion. But right now, just based off of these first 2 skills, the character seems too hard to set up, and there are not enough pieces in the pool, the puzzle pool, in order to actually make this character really thrive. There's only one other Venom character in Sharon, and the only really viable injury characters are characters like Apocalypse Ravi, Alencia, and Bellion. So it's very hard to get max value out of Cloud of Death. Let's move on to the final skill now, which is his basic skill, Clinical Trial. Again, you acquire 1 focus upon use. Attacks the enemy by throwing an experimental drug at them, and has a 65 to 75% chance to put that target to sleep for 1 turn. It also detonates any venom effects inflicted on the target at the end of the turn. The skill does not trigger a dual attack. Soulburn increases the sleep chance to 100% for the cost of 10 souls. If you're wondering why the skill does not trigger a dual attack, it's because it's very akin to Red Tenebria. You don't want to accidentally trigger a dual attack after putting the target to sleep and then end up waking them up. It's a fine S1. It's very akin to other characters we've had this year, like, say, Moon Bunny Dominion. Sleep on S1 is always going to be something that's very welcome. It's not a terrible S1 by any means. The detonate on the Venom effects on it is also very, very coveted for any Venom-based strategy going forward. So that is very good. So overall, Clinical Trial, very strong S1. Not the best. Would have liked to have seen some health scaling to really give the character a bit more oomph, especially since this character is most likely going to be primarily relegated to using S2 and S1 most games, and very rarely being able to use S3. The fact that S3, again, requires 5 focus to use, and there doesn't seem to be any reliable way to expedite that, aside from, again, like counters and Unity, but that's not reliable. It's rough. So my opinion, at the end of the day, is I would probably skip Death Dealer Ray. I think he's a cool character. I think he looks really fun. But at the end of the day, The consume 5 focus, I think, is just too much of a hurdle for the character to actually overcome. Obviously, you can watch content creators see if things change if somebody finds a really cool build for the character. But I think this is a character that is squarely in the category of for fun only. He's not somebody you want to really spend your resources on if you're somebody who's looking to be competitive or get very necessary pieces. He feels, at least on release, a lot weaker than most other Moonlight 5-star heroes in the game. At least that's my opinion. At the end of the day, though, Epic 7 is a game. It is for fun. If you think that Death Dealer Ray is fun and he will provide you a lot of fun in this game, and you think he's a pretty cool character, by all means, pull for him. But I think for the vast majority of people watching this video, my recommendation would be to skip Death Dealer Ray and get somebody who is more valuable, who will do more for your actual account. I could be wrong, though. Let me know down in the comments below if you feel that way or if I missed anything, as always. Have a happy holidays to everybody watching this video. This will probably be the last video I do before the holidays, but there might be a chance that I might be able to squeak in something small and fun. So look forward to that. Speaking of things to look forward to, again, next week we'll be doing a recap of Epic 7's year 2022 review. I did one for 2021, so you can definitely check that out under my videos if you have not already, just to kind of see what you can expect. I think it's just a really fun little way for me to kind of, test my video editing skills and kind of also review all of the cool things that we got this year. Things like the new characters, new MLs, new game modes, quality of life changes, uh, esports aspirations. Those things, we'll all talk about those next week. So please, again, look forward to that. In 2023, once my health gets a bit more stable and we've fully recovered, I do intend to start streaming a bit more. Primarily on Twitch, I think, is where I'm going to try to focus it first and foremost. And also, I will be back to getting to more guides, so you can expect more how to plays. And you can also expect at the start of the new year in 2023 a Katie's 13 guide. I know that's something that's been much requested by a lot of people, that I would do more hunt guides. So if you liked my Wyvern 13 guide, rest assured there will be a Katie's 13 guide coming in the new year. So again, please look forward to that. If I don't see you, if this is the last time you stop by the channel for the year, again, have a happy holidays and have a great new year. And I'll catch y'all in the next one. Bye-bye now.